Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the midnight version of Math with Audrey. How are you guys doing? This is Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring, welcoming you to SAT Prep. So we're actually going to be breaking down a lot of those concepts that you're going to see in the upcoming SATs or even PSATs. Now, if you're someone that's going after their GED, their ASVAT, this is also another live for you to kind of look to see where those foundational skills lie as people are taking the SATs. Now, you can also use this to help prep for the ACTs as well. All they're just basically taking the concepts that you're learning in the classroom, and what they're doing is having you think outside the box. So sometimes there's maybe one, two, sometimes three math concepts that's going on all in one problem. So let's take a look at our first one. So it says, what value of P is the solution to the given equation? So what of those numbers? Is it -1, which is A, 5, which is B, 15, which is C, or 21, which is D? Which of those answer choices is going to go in, if I can plug in, for P in this equation to make it into a true statement? Hey Renee, how are you? Yeah, I can't become a vendor in Texas because I'm not certified in Texas. Trust me, so many people have tried. But thank you, though. Okay, hey, no llama drama. How are you? Welcome back. Okay, is that Caden? All right, Bob the Builder saying A. It'll have to be, yeah, and then plus with them, they do not pay automatically. So, yeah, we've already tried so many with the vendors. But thanks for thinking about me. Hey, Shakita, how are you? Okay. Zesty Bestie, it's cute. Alexandria, A. Okay, Bob, I see that you have A. Okay, hey. Hello, Marvelli, how are you? Okay, you spoke to your caseworker? Okay. All right, so let's take a gander. So right away, I know there is a parenthesis here, but there's nothing that we need to multiply by. So why is there a parenthesis there? I have no blessed idea. So we're going to have our P plus our 3 plus 8 is equal to 10. So we have 3 plus 8. That gives me my 11. And then if we subtract the 11 on both sides, you're going to have your P is equal to -1. Now, if you don't want to do all of this lovely algebra, you can easily just plug in, see what you can get. So if you put the -1 in for P, -1 plus 3, that gives me 2. 2 plus 8 gives me 10. Boom, there's my answer. So you have choices. See? Okay. So now, for the next one, it's a little bit complicated. Not really complicated, but it's complicated for me to try to put everything on here. So I'm going to have to shrink-a-dink what we got here. So we have a scatter plot that's going on here. So you can kind of see a little bit of the dots. And they just want to know which of the following graphs show the most appropriate model for the data. So is it an increasing line? Is it a decreasing line? Is it my little curvature? What's my exponential? Which is slightly above or slightly below? So we have A, B, C, or D. What do you think? Okay. All right. So right now, this is all review for your SAT, PSAT, ACTs. Okay. So Jay is saying D, Michael saying D, burner account saying F. Angelica saying A. The Rose is saying D. Okay, hello, Erica. Okay, the machine saying D. Is that Jayla is saying D. P is saying D. Okay, so Big G Money. The Rose, user 48. I don't even know what that shape is. Achilles. Kaya, they're all saying D. Yes, because look at it. I know it's kind of hard, but this curve or this exponential is actually going through as most of your points. This one is missing the points altogether. This is just wrong, okay? Because it's only not even really going through any of the points. So anything that's going to closely mimic it is going to be D. I know, that was kind of hard for me to display for you guys. All right, so let's zoom in. All right. So what is the positive solution to the given equation? What is the positive solution to that given equation? Is it A, 144, B, 72, C, 38, or D, 12? Oh, good. Love math. Yes. Text girl saying D. We got 38. We got D's. Firehawk is saying A. Michi saying D. Michael saying D again. User 37 saying D. T. Carver D. Benny A. Boogie D. 37 saying D. T. Carver D. Benny A. Boogie D. Okay, Mrs. Pretty. So we got our D's, we got our 12s, we got our D's. All right. You changed your mind? All right. All right. Did see the times 2. We're seeing all our D's. We're seeing 12s. All right. So let's take a gander. Again, we could solve this for K. Notice there's only one variable, which is this one right here. So that means you have your K squared minus your 53 equals 91. So if we add this 53 on both sides, we'll get our K squared is going to equal 144. Okay? We don't want to know what K squared is. We want to know what K is. So right away, A is gone. So the inverse of x squared is square root. Now, the square root of 144, that's one of those perfect square roots. Because the inverse of square and square roots, they cancel each other out. That's how I'm able to get this K here. So now, square root of 144, that gives me 12. Now, we could say plus or minus 12, but here, they want the positive solution. So our answer is going to be D, 12. Yep. All right. Yep. These are some sample SAT questions. So that's all we're basically doing. We're just kind of taking a little review on here. Thank you for hitting that orange heart. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lynette. All right. Thank you, Danielle. All right. Just give us a little check-in, just to see what you are. If you go ahead and hit that heart me, that'll be awesome. Hey, Jordan Square, how are you doing? Hey, Janice, thank you, thank you. All right. So, during a portion of a flight, a small plane's cruising speed varied between 150 miles per hour and 170 miles per hour. Which inequality best represents the situation where S is the cruising speed in miles per hour during the portion of the flight? Okay, once I see this, which inequality best represents this situation? That's all I need to know. They talked about two things, 150 miles an hour and 170 miles an hour. Okay, they're not talking about the difference of that. They're just talking about what will represent it. So I'm not doing any operation, I'm doing some organization. So right away, we're going right here with D, because they're mentioning the 150. They're also mentioning the 170. We have our less than or equal to symbols. That means we're including the 150 and we're including the 170. All right. Okay. I'm not sure. Yeah, because I know they're definitely talking about the 150. So it's something, it varies between 150 miles per hour and 170 miles per hour. So all we have to do is represent what's going on between those 2 points. Okay. So corrupt, it's not going to be the speed is less than 150. The speed is right here in the center. So when you see this, the speed is actually, you got to read it in the reverse way. So the speed is actually going to be greater than or equal to 150. And the speed is going to be less than or equal to 170. Okay. Not a problem. All right. So this one I might have to shrink it ink for a moment. Okay, so we have our graph. So an object was launched upward from a platform. The graph shows model the height above the ground in meters of the object x seconds after it was launched. For which of the following intervals of time was the height of the object increasing for the entire interval? So is it A, from 0 to 2, B, 0 to 4, C, 2 to 3, or D, 3 to 4? Okay, you're not dumb. Stop it. Okay, so where is it increasing the entire time? Okay. Still saying Michael, kisses, M, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. They're all saying A. Hello, Carrie Star. User 48 A. Jackie A. Slim A. The man that knows how I feel. With the A with a question mark. All right. Nathan C. I think that's Lily with an A. Bree Baby with an A. Adia. Anna, Ann. Janice, I got you. Mr. Vale. Sorry. All saying A. Patty with a B. Jada, I had you and all of a sudden you disappeared. I don't know why my messages always disappear. I want to help my grandson. Oh, well, thank you. All right. So, when is this graph increasing? All right. So, it's increasing from here to our vertex. Okay. And we want to know what the x value that's associated with it. We'll start it here at the 0. And it keeps increasing when I get to 2. So from 0 to 2, and 0 to 2, that's going to be A. All right. There you go. Yep. More than willing to be of help. All right. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate it. Thanks for the follows. Okay. Sharing it out. Thank you, Miss Patty. Patty. All right. So now we're coming in. I think I probably skipped one because this is 6. Oh, I skipped one. Hold on. Whoa, Nelly. It was like really sneaky on the very bottom. Okay. How many yards are equivalent to 1,116 inches? And we're saying 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. How many yards? So this is not a multiple choice one. How can you figure it out? Do I tutor in math? Yes, I do. Not calculus. Up to pre-calc, not that AP stuff. Just regular pre-calculus. Okay. Because it's easier for me to put it on my phone. That's why. Okay. No, all I do is online. Okay. It's not useless. Okay, so we got 31, 31, 31. Yep, we just divide the 1116 by 36. Yep, 31 yards, 31 yards. Good. We're dividing it. Yes. Yes. Okay. All right, so what will be on my SAT? Go ahead and put that up on the chat. Put the link and everything. Do the research. Here we go. Okay, we got 31s. We got 31s. Good. Good. Mary. Thriller. I think that's DQ. I feel like I'm going through an eye test right now. All right, we got Boo. We got user 27 with the 31. Hey, Alba. How are you? Welcome back. Haley. Good. Is that Marcia? It's always the cursive ones. Okay, Big Stepper, we got the 30. Okay. All right. So here we go with the 31. What is there to break down? All we're doing is division. Okay, all you're doing is taking your 1,116 and you're dividing it by 36. Okay, so you're trying to say to yourself, all right, how many 36s can go into 111? There's going to be 3 of them. So this is 8 carry the 1, so that makes it 108. Okay, so now you got your 11 minus 8, that gives me my 3 and 6. How many 36 goes into 36? 1 time. Okay. All right. So that's all we're doing. Nothing but division. All right. Now we're going into this one. So f of x is equal to 14 plus 4x. The function f represents the total cost in dollars of attending an arcade when X games are played. How many games can be played for a total cost of $58? Yeah, $58. Okay, hey Kaya, how are you? Peyton, yes, thank you, Michael. You're my best French, the biggest ma. Hey, welcome back. Okay, all of them guys saying 11. You're learning this in math? Good, because that means your PSATs are coming up. Usually in the month of October, PSATs are usually right around the corner. I know Alaska's is this Saturday. Some people, I think Maryland is next week, if I'm not mistaken. Puerto Rico, you guys have yours on the 22nd. So the month of October is nothing but PSAT testing. Okay, 20 years from high school. All right, the machine, yes. Miss Jenkins, yes for 11. Okay, you're not in high school. Is this algebra? Yep, it's a combination. So the SATs, ACTs always test all the way up to Algebra 2. Now this is a basic concept of algebra. So they're telling me my total cost is $58. So that's going to be what my F represents. So that means we have 58 equals 14 plus 4x. So now we're solving for x because the x is representing the games. And they're asking how many games. So I need to do the inverse. If it's a positive 14, that means I'm subtracting 14 on both sides. Okay, so then this gives me 4, this gives me 4, and I bring down my 4x. So in order for me to get x by itself, I had to divide both sides by 4. 44 divided by 4, that gives me 11. So it's going to be 11 games that they're going to need to play. Okay. All right. So here we are. Ooh, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we have f of x is equal to x plus b. For the linear function f, b is the constant. When x is equal to 0, f of x is equal to 30. What is the value of b? Is it A, negative 30, B, negative 1/30, C, 1/30, or D, 30? Okay, so we're seeing our 30s, we're seeing our 30s. Okay, Peyton went back to the 30s. There you go, I see you. The Sahara Desert's got my 30. Distill, you got my 30. We got our D's. All right, Michael, we have our D's. Jordan with our D's. Dia, we have C. Hene with 30. Okay, user 48 with D. All right, so they're giving you the information. They're giving you what f of x is. So all we're doing is plugging that 30 where the f of x is. So we got our 30 equals. Okay, they're telling you what x is. So you're plugging a 0 for the x. Anything added, 0 plus anything, it's going to be its original self. So we really didn't have to go too technical with this. Because right now, 0 is like being used as like a placeholder. But we don't need it to hold anything. Because we still have that b over here. So that's what your b going to equal. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. Yeah. The first module, I know. Yes, but soon enough, if you're taking an electronic, believe it or not, there are some people that are still taking it via paper. But they decided to do the SATs and the PSATs via computerized, which now you can use Desmos. And they have it all down in one section. They don't have two sections anymore, not for the math. So it's less problems, a little more intensive, but they just do it all under one section. So now, Algebra Honors, just letting you know. All right, cool. Well, welcome on in, because remember, you guys also have a PSAT too. Yeah, they decided to have a 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade PSAT. So, yeah, you're going to have it too. So we have PFT equals 1,800 times 1 200 raised to the t. So the function p gives the estimated number of marine mammals in a certain area, where t is the number of years since the study began. What is the best interpretation of p of 0 equals my 1800 in this context? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay. Right. Yeah, it does help. And that's exactly right, Johnny, because you are going to kind of run out of time because they know how impressionable we are with our calculations and using calculators. So that's why certain things, it'll be good for you to kind of know, especially the multiplication table, because that will save you so much time on any kind of assessment. Okay. All right. Okay. I got you. So I am going to explain it here. So Lopez, I'm going to explain it. So we got our B's, we got our B's, we got our B's, we got brown sugar, Jordan squared, Diaz, yes, Kaya. Is it Denry? Naya. Okay, lovely. Let me answer a question. And make you answer a question? What are you talking about? Okay. All right. So, think about what they told you in the beginning. Okay? So, the T is going to be the number of years where it started. So, the T, notice the T is in the same spot in the beginning to here. So, that means in the first year. So, when they first began. So, this is when it has nothing to do with the 102. So anything that says 102, boom, eliminate it. Because all we're talking about is the 0 and the 1800. So then your answer choice is either B or D. So B is saying that the estimated number of marine mammals in the area was 1800 when the study began. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at when it all started in the very beginning. So your answer is going to be B. Notice I didn't say, oh, okay, well, let me go and check. You can, because this one says 1800 each year. We're not talking about each year. We're talking at 0. We're talking at the start. So sometimes just skimming through and seeing what the verbiage is going, you can find your answers like that. Now remember, you're given like a minute. Hold on, PSAT, I think for the math is like close to like a minute 7 seconds. So still a minute. Nice long amount of time, okay? There's going to be some problems like we saw earlier, like 1 through 8, you probably got rather quickly. So then you can use some of that time on some more structured questions. That's going to be a little more challenging. Okay, so you do have to keep track of your time, but if you feel that I'm spending a little too much time with it, mark it and come back to it. Okay, I like to put the number of a question on my scrap paper. So like if I skipped number 9, I would just write a number 9 on the top, so then I'll just a quick little reminder instead of me relying on the computer. All right. So a manager is responsible for ordering supplies for a shaved ice shop. Okay, the store's inventory starts with 4,500 paper cups, and the manager estimates that 70 of these paper cups are used each day. Based on this estimate, in how many days will the supply of the paper cups reach 1,700? Is it A, 20, B, 40, C, 60, or D, 80? Yes. And then it kills you. Yeah, but see, here's the funny part. Johnny, I'm not sure what sequence you went through. You probably haven't even seen that much depth in trig yet. So here's my question. How can you test? This is why I don't like the SATs, especially in October. You haven't learned it yet. So how can you test something that you haven't learned yet? It just doesn't make any sense. All right. Well, thank you. All right. Okay, so we're looking at answer of B. Now, let's take a look. So we're starting out with 4,500 paper cups, right? We know that 70 of these cups are used each day. So X is going to represent my days, okay? Because that's what we're looking for. How many days? So if I know I'm going to use 70, I'm going to subtract 70. But where do we want to reach? What is our goal? What do we want it to equal? We want it to equal that 1,700. Okay? So if you want to, all right, I'm at 45 and I just have to figure out, I can keep doing subtraction until I get to 1,700. That's how you lose time on the test. So get to know, I need to subtract my 4,500 on both sides. The reason why I'm subtracting is I need to get my X by itself. I need my variable to be by itself. So right now, this is a positive 4,500. There's way too many people that would add 4,500 on both sides because they're using this as an attachment to the 4,500. No, your signage for the 4,500 is in front to the left of the number. This minus sign is acting as a negative for 70, not for 4,500. Okay, definitely need to emphasize that. All right, so now, yes, thank you. So we have negative 70x is going to equal to a negative 2,800. Then I'm going to divide both sides. And don't freak out about the negatives because a negative divided by a negative will give me a positive answer. So now I got one set of zeros I can cancel out. So I actually have 280 over 7, which will give me 40. So instead of you dealing with larger numbers, if they both end in 0, okay, how many zeros do they end in? All right, just one set. So you can cancel that out. Now you just have to worry about 280 divided by 7 instead of 2,800 divided by 70. Make it a little bit easier for yourself. Okay? Yep. And you can do that as well. But first off, you need to set yourself up. When you set yourself up, then you can do your plugging in. All right. There you go. All right. So multiple ways of getting it down. But main thing you definitely want to do is process of elimination. So while we're here, there's 284 of us. We got close to 4K. If we can get that up, I would greatly appreciate it. Hey, not a problem. We're not completely done. We still got some more time. And we still got a little bit more problems to do. Okay, because think about how you guys got here. Probably was just scrolling on your FYP and all of a sudden, here comes this chick talking about math and you're like, let me see what this is all about. All right. When is the book 6 going to be finished? Anthony, at this rate, I'm probably just not going to do a book 6. That's kind of how I feel. It's like, what's the point? Just kind of feel that way. All right. So we got the school for 11 years. Hey, welcome on in. Welcome on in. All right. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. So y is greater than 4x plus 8. Okay. y is greater than 4x plus 8. Which of the following tables are all the values of x and their corresponding values of y solutions to the given inequality? All right. Okay. All right. So we're getting all of this. So taking a look, we have all our x's. Look at our x's. They're all exactly the same. So we are trying to figure out which y values, after I plug in for an x value, that's going to satisfy this inequality. Okay. So I'm seeing a bunch of A's. I have a couple B's. Okay, Joseph. So what are we going to have to do to make this change? Okay. Michael, Kylie. Yes, I'm going to use 2. Thank you. Yeah, because I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Okay, so Sharon's saying B. We're getting a bunch of A's. Now, let's take a look. If I plug 2 in for x, I have y is greater than 4 times 2 plus 8. Now, 4 times 2, that gives me 8. And 8 plus 8 gives me 16. So that means my y value has to be greater than 16. So, which of these has a y value if I'm looking at my 2's? So I'm just talking about this section right here. Okay, we use the 2's to substitute. Which one of them gives me a y value that is going to be greater than 16? Okay, there we go. There it is. Okay, it can't be B because B is an 8. 8 is not greater than 16. Okay, that's not the math we need to know. That's how you go to jail. Okay? All right, so we need something that's going to be larger than 16. 13 isn't greater than 16. All right, that's being said twice, so those are eliminated. We know 8 is not larger than 16, but 19 is. 19 is bigger than 16. If you want to plug a 4 in, that means 4 times 4 gives me 16. And 16 plus 8, that gives me 24. So I need something that's going to give me y is greater than 24. Boom, that's 30. This is definitely my answer, which is A. Okay. All right. So notice that they took a little bit. I know, we got to get that math together. They're like, oh, this is girl math. That's how you go to jail. All right. So they take a little bit of what we're learning with the tables, but they twist it. So all you have to do was plug a 2 in, but then you had to read this. You had to know what that inequality symbol meant, and you had to check your y values to see if it would give it a true statement. Okay, so that's the 2 things we had to work on. All right. Number 12. Okay. Which expression is equivalent to x squared plus 11 raised to the second power plus x minus 5 times x plus 5? You still got rent to pay? Yeah, same here. Okay. Not sure, Michael? Okay. Okay. So you need scratch paper? Okay. All right. So distill saying B, key saying D. Let you enjoy your weekend. It's Thursday. And the funny part is you don't have to stay, Tay. No one is forcing you. Well, this is actually, Jeff, this is actually SAT prep math. But there are some things in here that you can kind of dabble into. All right? Now, this is when I kind of like to take a little bit of trickery. Well, I know I'm looking at the beginning. I'm looking at my answer choices. So all of them has x to the 4th power. And you're probably like, well, where is that coming from? Well, we have that x squared raised to the 2nd power. We got x to the 4th power. Now, if you want to, you could extend it out. And the reason why I'm going to show you this. So you got your x squared plus 11 times your x squared plus 11. And this is being added to your x minus 5 and x plus 5. It seems to me that most of the stuff, the leading coefficient is not going to help me out. But I noticed there is some variety with my constants. So I know if I have my constants, I have my 11 times 11, that will give me 121. But I need to add the constant that I'm going to get from here, which is my negative 5 and my positive 5. That gives me negative 25. So right away, C is not going to work because I have to take 25 from this. So now I got 121 minus 25. That gives me, I'm going to borrow here, that's a 1. Make that 11, that's a 6. So if I'm getting a 6, the only thing that's ending with a 6 is B and D. So A is out. So now I got 11 minus 2. That gives me 9. My answer is going to be B. Okay. So you don't have to go with the whole extension of the box and do your x squared, and then x squared times 11, then 11 times x squared, and then 11 times 11. Nah. Take a look at your constants. Multiply the 11 and 11. Multiply the negative 5 and the positive 5. Okay. 11 times 11 gives me 121. It's a perfect square. And same happens with the 5 and the 5, but one's negative and one's positive. So that means my answer is going to be negative. And then I just combine the two. That's where the 96 comes from. So where does the 23x squared comes in? So that is when you do your distributive property. Okay, so if you do your distributive property, let me put it here. So x squared plus 11, x squared plus 11. Now, if I come here in the center and I combine my two, 11 times 11x squared is 11x squared. 11 times x squared gives me 11x squared. If I add those two together, I'm going to get 22x squared. But wait, remember over here we had x minus 5 and x plus 5. Okay, so when I distribute the x's, I'm going to get 1x squared. So I'm going to take this 22x squared and I'm going to add it to that 1x squared. That's where my 23x squared comes from. So that's where it will be. All right. Okay. All right. Few more. Then I'm out. All right. So the function h is defined by h of x equals 8 over 5x plus 6. What is the value of h of 2? Because you're intrigued by my voice. And you keep calling yourself real ugly. Need for you to change your name. Okay, so Logan's saying 1/2. Shelby saying 0.5, never 1/2. The man or man squared 1/2. Jermaine, hey Jermaine, 1/2. Okay, this is basically SAT prep. So yes. All right, so we got Jumpy Jan. How are you? Tootsie. Looks like Renard, King, Joseph, Fresh is all saying 1/2. Okay, Candy saying 1/2. Real Ugly 1/2. Looks like Leah saying 0.5. Yep. So it's a combination of Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Okay, it's SAT prep. Okay, Lovely, I got you. Ellie, I got you. Anthony. All right. So BC saying 0.5. Now this is what's happening. Notice where the x and where the 2 is in the same spot. So that's telling me everywhere I see an x, I'm putting a 2 in its place. So now I have 8 over 5 times 2, which gives me 10, plus 6. So 8 over 16. And 8/16 reduced by 8 will give me 1/2. Okay. All right, Coco, good. Selma, all right, awesome. Now, anything with the triangle. Still watching and learning? Yep. Awesome. Yeah, because you're going to be seeing these. If you're not seeing them already, you're definitely going to see them soon. Like Jerry Berry. Okay, we got our 15s. We got 7.5. Okay. All right. So this is what it says. Okay, the figure shows the lengths in inches of two sides of the right triangle. What is the area of the triangle in squared inches? Okay, so we're looking for area. They're giving us one side as a 3, another side as a 5. Okay, if you're thinking, oh, it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Okay. If that is the case, then the 5 will have to be the longest side. Remember, the side that's directly across from your 90-degree angle, no matter how it's shaped, is always called your hypotenuse. Okay, that's your longest side. But, do we need it? There it is. Good. Because we're looking for the area. They didn't say find the length of the missing side. They said what is the area. And the area of a triangle, if you know the area of a rectangle, which is base times height, just divide that bad boy by 2. Boom. Okay? That's what happens. Because if I wanted to, I could, as best I can, get a little crazy, try to complete it. And that's what you got, is a rectangle. That's all it is. Okay? So you got your base, which is 5. You got your height, which is 3. You're dividing by 2. Okay? So 15 divided by 2 You can either leave it as 15 halves because they do accept that, or if you're doing like a fill-in, it will be 7.5. They would accept either one of those, and this by my squared inches. Okay, they will accept either one of those. Area for all triangles, Lexi. Doesn't matter, right? Acute, obtuse. Okay. It's always going to be your base times height divided by 2. Okay. All right. Let's go. All right. Height does have to be a right angle. The height doesn't have to be a right angle. What do you mean? Does the height have to be a right angle? The height's not an angle. Yeah, the height's not an angle. It's just a side. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Boogie. Instead of from Jenny from the block, we got Jenny from the... I just love the names. All right. Okay, so now we're getting into little technical world. Little technical world. Okay, the graph models the number of active projects a company was working on X months after the end of November 2012, where 0 is less than or equal to X, X is less than or equal to 6. According to the model, what is the predicted number of active projects the company has worked on at the end of November 2012? Is it A, 0, B, 5, C, 8, or D, 9? I'm going to have you guys control your Zoom. Okay. Okay. So I got Cam with an A, got a 5, Lovely with a D, Sharon with a D. Thanks for the follow, Sherry. Michael with 5, Chevy with D, Brown Sugar C. Okay. 5, B, C. This is where you tap out. No, you don't have to tap out. You don't have to tap out. Because I'll show you exactly what they want. And you're going to be like, oh, this is crazy. Yolanda, thank you so much. Joanne with a D. Danielle with a B. Okay. Kai with 0. Hey, it's all. Hey, y'all, it's me, Ma. Saying B. Tootsie D. Carrie Star D. IBE 5. Some trouble with the right here. Okay. With this right here. Got you. C. IBEB. Never 8. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. So they want to know. Okay. So this is supposed to model the number of active projects the company was working on after the end of November. Okay. According to the model, what's the predicted number of active projects they were working on at the end of November? So at the end of November, that's basically where they started. This is all happening at the end of November. So since they're saying that active projects they're working on at the end of November, this is where they're starting. This is what's called your y-intercept. So they're looking at this point right here. At the end, 0. It's the end of November. No more dates, no more nuts. They haven't done anything. So it's going to be 5. All they want to know was the starting amount of your graph. That's all they wanted to know. I know. They do this whole novel and ad-libbing, and you're just like, oh, that's it? That's it. Okay? Period. All right. Now, let's go with this one. The relationship between two variables, x and y, is linear. For every increase in the value of x by 1, the value of y increases by 8. When the value of x is 2, the value of y is 18. Which equation represents this relationship? Is it A, B, C, or D? Not a problem, Strawberry. Yep, I know. Okay, so Lovely saying B, Kiara saying A, Shelby saying C. Okay, we got A, B, and C. Cherry is like, hey, let me round it off with a D. She's like, shoot, why not? Let me just throw that in there. Jenny is saying A. Saul is saying B. Hay is saying A. Hey, A. Okay, Chevy A. Cherry sticking with her D. I'm sticking with the D. Okay, just sub in 2 for X. There we go. All right. So I still got some A's, I got some C's, got an A. All right, thank you so much for the follows, guys. Leslie, we got an A. Is that Kenji? Is that an A? Kyra, C. Ellie, Caitlin, all saying C. Hay saying C. Okay, we got some. Now we narrowed it down to C's and A's. All right. Okay. You looked it up. Oh. Okay, Kennedy saying C. All right. So plug in X and Y. All right. So this is what they're giving us. They're telling us what X is supposed to be. Okay, the X is supposed to be 2. They're telling us what the Y is supposed to be. The Y is supposed to be 18. So the constant is not supposed to be 18. That means when I plug the 2 in for the X, it's supposed to equal Y. So that's why A is out. Now, I know if I plug a 2 in for the X here, 3 times 2 is 6. If I'm going to add 26 to the 6, that's more than 18. D is out. So now if I plug 2 in for the X here, that'll give me 4. 4 plus 8, that gives me 12, not 18. Because if I do 2 times 8, that gives me 16, plus 2 will give me my 18. My answer is C. There you go. Yes. Okay, so we're not looking for the constant to equal 18. We're looking for what will give my Y values to equal 18. All right. Yeah, Shelby, perfectly awesome question. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. They try to numb you, and then you get you in a lull so you can make those little itty bitty mistakes. That's why sometimes if I was taking this test again, it's been many moons since I've taken it, that I would go with the question and then I will look in the paragraph to see what I need to pull. Sometimes reading the whole thing, like Mary decided to go to the store. She was really anchoring for some chocolate. And she remembered the chocolate that she had back in France like 2 years ago. It was a very sunny day. And then she met, Jean-Paul, and it was a very hopeless romance. Find the equation of X. Like, seriously. What happened to Jean-Paul? What happened to Mary? Was it a hopeless romance? Are they married? Are they this? Like, no one cares about any of that. And they always do that. Give you all this excess stuff. Trust me. It's all kinds of cray-cray. So yeah, usually go for the question. And the way that you take these type of assessments, GED, ASVAT, AccuPlacer, any of the SAT, ACT, any of these standardized tests, you're not, and this is the one thing that will save you with some time, you don't take those type of tests the same way that you take a test in a classroom. Tests in the classroom, the teacher wants to see your process. They want to see, how did you get C? Write down your steps. I want to see that. So just in case you accidentally pick the wrong answer, but your work shows a C valued answer, we can give you some partial credit. But on standardized tests, you can't get partial credit. You can't get partial credit at all. So that's why it's called, just look at what you got to do. And just when you find your answer, bubble it, circle it, move on. Okay? No celebration like, oh, let me make sure that it... No. It's it. Okay? It's not, that's it. Okay? All right. Okay. Good job, Sherry. Practice more. You get better. Yep. Practice doesn't make perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. I'm sorry. That was, I don't know who decided to say, hey, I want something to match practice. Perfect. Oh, that will work. There's no such thing as perfect. You improve. You take responsibility, you make a decision, and then you do well with it. You practice it so you can improve your skill set. Okay? All right. I know, I want my chocolate, right? Yeah, AP Calc. Nope, that is not me. All right, so here we go. The given equation relates the positive numbers P, N, and C. And you're like, what? There's nothing but letters, and there's a 19. What am I supposed to do? One, don't freak out. You know how to solve an equation. What's the goal? You always want to solve for the variable. Right now, they're going to tell you what you want you to solve. Which equation correctly expresses C in terms of P and N? And you're like, I don't even know what that means. Beautiful. Take a look at your answer choices. What are they all equal to? What are they all equal to? Put it in the chat. What are all these equations equal to? They're all equal to C. It says it right here. C equals, C equals, C equals, C equals. Yes. Okay? So that's what they're saying. They want you to solve this equation for C. So, knowing about the inverses. And you're probably like, oh, well, how are we going to do that? Okay, then we do the distributive property. We ain't got time for that. We know N is multiplying this expression, 19 minus C. We're trying to get C by itself. This is multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by N. N will cancel, N will cancel. Because then what's left over here is 19 minus C without the parentheses. Because we took care of the thing that we were going to multiply it with. We divide it out. Now, the only thing that's being divided by N is P. So right away, I'm getting rid of A and C because they're saying we're dividing the N with the 19 and the P. That's not what's happening here. Because now I need to get rid of this 19. So how do I get rid of it? I got to do the opposite. And this is a positive 19 because I'm looking to the left of the number. So that means I need to subtract 19. So that means I got negative 19, okay, and then this is a positive P over N. and it's going to equal a negative c. Okay? So right now, I need to divide everything or multiply everything. I think that'll be a lot better. Multiplying everything by -1. Reason why I want to do that is because a negative times a negative gives me a positive. And all I'm doing over here is changing the signs of everything. -1 times -19, that's a positive 19. -1 times negative pn, positive pn, that's a negative pn. So which one does it match up with? It matches up with D. Okay. All right. Right. But see, you guys got to understand, there are shortcuts. So like if I wanted to do 3 times x plus 5 equals 21, you don't have to do the distributive property. You could. But if you understand that this whole left side, you're multiplying the 3 to this whole expression of x plus 5. So if you're multiplying the 3 to the x plus 5, let's go ahead and do the inverse. So that gives me x plus 5 equals 7. Then you can subtract your 5, and you get x is equal to 2. Okay? Would you get the same answer if you distribute? Of course you would, because you're going to have 3x plus 15 equals 21. Okay? Subtract this 15 on both sides. So you got 3x is equal to 6. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 2. You get the same answer. It's just a different way. There's more than one way, guys, to solve. It's more than one way. All right? If there was a square on here, sure. Same thing. You're still multiplying the 3 to it. It has nothing to do. This is not being squared. Just this expression is. Okay? And then you will obviously take the square root of both sides, and you'll take it all the way through. Okay, so I got my x equals -5 plus or minus the square root of 7. Obviously, that's a different answer because we squared it. Square root it. Okay. All right. Let's do 18. And then we're going to continue this party tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a little bit of ASVAT math. I might be able to come on a little earlier, and maybe come on twice tomorrow. Because today I'm not feeling very cheery. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. So which of the following is the solution to the given equation? Okay. Someone asked me about factoring. Here we go. Okay. It's like, can we do more word problems? Whatever's on this sheet, that's what we do. Okay. Yep. So ASVAT is going to be tomorrow, but that's going to be a little bit early. Okay. All right. So if I take a look, for those that want to do factoring. I notice if my leading coefficient is 1, most of the time I'll be like, all right, cool. Let me just go ahead and split it into 2 parentheses and set it equal to 0. So I can split my w's. And then I have to think, what 2 numbers multiplied will give me negative 40 and add to give me 12. Okay. What 2 numbers multiplied together will give me negative 40 and add together to give me a positive 12? There you go, Alicia. Thank you. Okay. Not 5 and negative 8, because if I add 5 and negative 8, that will give me a negative 3. Okay. Even negative 8 and 5, that will give me a negative 3. 5 and 8 doesn't even give me a negative 40, because it has to be multiplied to give me a negative 40. And then negative 4 times negative 8, that gives me a 32. We're looking for a 40. Okay. All right. Okay. So we need, because there isn't any. Okay. You can do 4 times 10. Still doesn't give me 12, positive 12. You can do 2 and 20. That still doesn't give me a positive 12. 5 and 8, as we already discussed, that doesn't give me a positive 12. So when you come into that type of situation, you're going to have to go with good old negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Everyone loves this. Sarcasm. This is called the quadratic formula. So when you get stuck, and if you get into factoring, you can use the quadratic formula for regular factor problems with rational numbers, even complex numbers. It'll show up, okay? Because what will tell you what type of roots you're going to have is all based on what's called the discriminant. So what's underneath that square root, that b squared minus 4ac? The result of this will tell you if you're going to have 2 real roots, or if you're going to have like a repeated 0, or if you're going to have something called complex numbers. So what we're going to do, we're going to fill this in. So we need to figure out what our A is, what our B is, and what our C is. So in standard form, that's what this is in. The number that's in front of my w squared is a 1. If you don't see anything, it's assumed to be 1. My b is what's in front of the w, which is a 12. And my c is the constant with its signage, so that's a negative 40. We're going to take this information and plug it into this formula. So I'm going to write as I can. So we have a negative 12 plus or minus the square root. My b is 12 squared minus 4 times my a, which is 1, and my c, which is negative 40. And all of this over 2 times my a, which is 2 times 1. Okay. Okay. Hello, Mike. Okay. So, knowing your info, because it'll get us right to it. So we got our negative 12 plus or minus you got your 12 squared. 12 squared is 12 times 12, which gives me 144. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. And 4 times 40 gives me 160. All over 2. All right, so 144 plus 160, that gives me 304. So we got negative 12 plus or minus square root of 304 divided by 2. Okay. Now, let's go into Algebra 2. So now, if I look at my answer choices, let me scroll this down for a bit. I notice there's a square root of 19 constantly being mentioned. So that should kind of give me like a little hint that if I take this 304 and I divide it by 19, I should get like a perfect out of it. So in that case, I got my negative 12 plus or minus, and if I want to simplify or break down that square root of 304, I know one of them is going to be a 19. So 304 divided by 19, that gives me 16. And the square root of 16, that's a perfect square root. So square root of 16, that gives us 4. So that means I have my negative 12 plus or minus 4 square root of 19 over 2. Almost done. Now we have that negative 12. We have this 4. We have that 2. So they all have something in common. Okay? They all have something in common. Pre-calculus I teach. Yeah, I don't do calculus. So they all have 2, 4, and negative 12. So they all have 2 in common. So that's going to turn to a 1. This 4 is going to turn into a 2. And this negative 12 is going to turn into a negative 6. So we have negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 19. That's going to be your answer. See, this is one of those problems that you will save a little bit of time because you answer rather quickly with some of the earlier stuff. This is considered a medium question. Okay. Where did the negative go? The negative's still there. Where did you get negative 6? I reduced negative 12, 4, and 2. I was able to reduce all that by 2. Okay. Okay. You don't divide 19 by 2. You don't mess with the square root. The square root stays the same. Why do I call it plus minus? Because it's a plus sign over a minus sign. It's really 2 answers. There's a positive version and a negative version. Plus, minus, same. Yep, it does. Nope, you do not have to divide 19. Nope, because it's under a square root. You can't divide the square root. You can't divide the square root with a whole number. That I definitely know. You have to check on that. We're not multiplying -4. You already did multiply -4. -4 times 1 times -40, and negative times a negative gives you a positive 160. How did I know to break it apart? You always want to see if you can break it down. Plus, it's an even number. Anytime it's an even number, you know you can break it down. The reason why I know to use 19 is because if you look at the answers, all of them have a square root of 19. So I just took the 304 divided by 19 to see if I can get a perfect square root, which I did. That's where the 16 came from. Because 16 times 19 gives me 304. You can break down a root. You can do a root with a root. Yeah, you can do a root with a root. Thank you. Well, if you divide by 2, 2 is not a perfect square root. You have to, if you're trying to break down a radical, so like if I want to break down the square root of 48, okay? 48 is not a perfect square root. So that means I need to break down with a perfect prime combination. So since it's even, I know a lot of people will be like, well, why don't you do it by 2? 2 is not a perfect square root. Now, the square root of 4 can give me a 2. So if I took my 48 and I divide it by 4, I'm going to get a 12. When I get a 12, 12 is not a prime number. So that means there should be a higher perfect that can work. So obviously, if I do 3 squared, that's 9. 9 doesn't work well with 48. That's going to give me a crazy decimal. So the next one would be 16. So if I do 48 divided by 16, I'm going to get my 16 times square root of 3. This will work so much better because this 12, I would have to break it down with the square root of 4 and the square root of 3. That means I got to break down some more. I don't want to break down too much. I always want to get the perfect prime combination. So square root of 16, a number multiplied by itself, is 4. Square root of 3 just comes down. So that's how I break down the square root of 48 to 4 and radical 3. No, because we're not simplifying radicals. We're just showing this as a side note. That's not the whole lesson. Whole lesson is SAT prep. Okay. What about the other 4? What about the other 4? Wait, 4. Yeah, you can divide radicals with radicals. Who's telling you all these weird rules? So this one, 4 times 4 becomes 4 outside root. 4 times 4 is square root of 16. So the square root of 16 is a whole number of 4. There's no more radicals once it's a perfect. Oh, that's good. Glad that worked. Okay. So tomorrow, I wish I could have a schedule, guys. I really could. Because I think that's what's putting me in a funk. because I really want to have a schedule, but right now it's like I have to get my clientele. So I know tomorrow's Friday. So I'm going to try to come on about 4 Eastern Standard Time. But I'm going to see if I can come on earlier as well. So we'll see. So the best thing I want to say, if you want to know when I'm going to come on, is just don't sign up as a super fan. Just sign up as like a fan so you can get notifications of when I'm on. I think that's the best thing. Okay, so it's like an orange heart that's above my name. So you can click on that. All right, so I will be doing the ASVAT sample questions. We're going to be doing, I think the math knowledge is what I'm doing tomorrow. Okay. But I will definitely be on Saturday and Sunday. That's what I try to come on at least twice at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be trying to do something with the Hesse or T's test. And then I'm going to do a little bit more on Sunday with some more ASVAT and GED, because I haven't, a lot of those things are the same. So is a perfect square root an even number? No, it's not. Sometimes I kind of wish I can find out what grade everyone's in. Okay, so let me show you. All right, this is my handy dandy notebook. And let me show you about the perfect squares and square roots. So we're looking at these 2 columns right here. So perfect squares is like a number raised to a power of 2. Okay, so this is basically saying like 2 times 2. This is saying 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, 6 times 6, 7 times 7, 8 times 8, and so on. Now, the square roots is taking these answers, okay, and is basically saying, okay, the square root of 4 is giving me my original answer of 2, okay, and I can also have positive and negative numbers. So notice my square roots, they're not all even. 9 is not an even number. Okay, 25 is not an even number. 49 is not an even number. 81 is not an even number. It's basically a number times itself. But when it's in a square root, you're actually doing the reverse. Okay, awesome. Cool. Yes, wheels. You can check me out. Check me out around 4. Okay. All right. Okay. So, have all of these. If you guys, and I really think, especially with this group, I think this one will do you guys well. Sorry, let me get all this fun stuff out of here. Okay. So what I do, and this is how you can organize your notes. So if you guys ever need a math notebook that is designed for math, not these composition notebooks that you're trying to make them into something, okay? It actually gives you space for your formulas, your steps, and also your detailed information with your notes. The dot graphs, which helps with graphs, but also you got your grids that can help with regular grids. And not only does it have all this information and stuff that you can actually tape into your book, it also gives you the factor charts, which I have to admit a lot of you guys need. Okay? You have to, especially when it gets to algebra, you have to know your multiplication tables. They do not. If you're an older parent or a grandparent, they do not do cadence in schools anymore, okay? Once they start throwing a calculator in their way, boom, the cadence disappeared, okay? But if you want, you got your factor charts here from 1 all the way to 200. It also gives you the reminders, and also this one gives us your perfect squares and cubes, as well as the rules for integers. What does that look like? Gives you the inequalities and also interval notation. A lot of stuff that you're starting to see in Algebra 1. Properties of exponents, order of operations, all the rules and formulas for linear and quadratic equations. Then you have your fractions operations as well as decimal operations. It's just all the things that you need to kind of keep track of. Because yes, there are tons of formulas. Okay, there's so much formulas. I know. I get it. Here's your volume and your surface area, Pythagorean theorem, trig with the SOHCAHTOA. Then you have your area, perimeter, and circumference if you're looking at a circle. And then also your conversion chart. So this particular book with the resources is designed for Algebra and Algebra 1. This one is more designed for Algebra 2. I know it's all like wicked colors. I just realized that. And then for the Algebra 2, there's some similarities, especially with the factor sheet. Then you have you have your complex numbers. You have your fractions, you have your conversions. So some of the charts are exactly the same. Especially, but then here we get to log and exponential, doing the conversion there. Then we talk about velocity and acceleration here. Then we talking about the unit circle, the conic sections, okay? All the references. Now we're looking more at sine and cosine waves, looking at their range, their amplitude, their periods, all of that information that they need, and also how to find missing sides or angles using the sine or the cosine rules. Then you have your trig identities, and then last but not least, you have Pascal's triangle. Okay, the part that everyone kind of like, I don't know where to go. All right, so all of that is listed, 100 pages, sections with notes. If you write smaller than I do, this can last you for like a semester. Okay, I write big because of the notes that's going on here. All right. Okay. Alrighty. Hey, Jenny. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. All right. So you can order your own books. As soon as I can find my sheet. Okay. So you can go to the big A, the brown box with the smile on it. There's a rainforest named after it as well. So you can order it there, or you can go here at a little bit cheaper rate. It will take extra time, like a good week for it to deliver if you buy it from here. You can take a screenshot of this. I'm going to take it down in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Yeah, I can't say the A word. I know. And also, if you want, you can do this. If you missed today's session, you just got here, okay? Give me a few hours, actually. But you can go here, sign on here, and you can do all 5 of those things, okay? All of my replays from February the 2nd is listed there under where it says TikTok replays, okay? So you can do a search if there's something in particular that you need. If it's like Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and College Algebra based, it's probably there, okay? So just give a little gander. And then be on the lookout for a new venture that I'm trying to figure out to see if I can help you out a little bit more. Okay? All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Alrighty. So, hey, Sundog. All right. So, if anything, if you have any questions, I do also offer some tutoring services. Right now, I have like 6 slots left. So if you want tutoring, just let me know. Go ahead and just DM me and I'll double check. And this is a paid venture. Okay, let me just sum it up right now. I normally charge $87 for a session. Okay, but right now for TikTokers, if you're following me, I charge you $67. Am I expensive? I don't think so, based on the results that you're going to get, and you're going to get rather quickly. Now, but if you want to do a course, I have the GED, the ASVAT, Accuplacer. If you're in T's or HESCs, and you really just, I don't get math at all, the foundations to algebra, that would be your best thing. And that's where I break it down. It's 107 videos. There's practice sheets. There are quizzes that's involved. It goes everything from the types of numbers all the way to rational functions. So it has a little bit of algebra 2 in there. So, and then it also has probability and statistics and a little bit of geometry. So you're getting it all in there. Okay. Yes, it's exhausting. Okay. Can I give an example how it's used in whatever in industry? Yeah, I did that already. I don't know. Jenny, I don't know. My patients are just very, very thin today. But that's what we got. That's where we're going. Yes. Yes, you did miss it. Yes, you did. So go here so you can get it. And then all these lovely, oh, you should do this, you should do that. You should hire me as your tutor. You know, let's get it done. I feel like every person that I have helped so far is making huge strides. Because, one, they just need someone to help them and guide them. And it just seems like it works. So if you need a tutor, hey, before you know, interims will be right around the corner. If you haven't received them already, or they're being handed out maybe this week, depending on where you live. Alrighty, so one, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for coming in. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate the time and attention. So again, tomorrow we're going to do some ASVAT. If I have some time additionally, I might be able to come back on and do some more breaking down of radical expressions. The best bet for you is to follow me. And if anything, be a part of the community. It's free. So if you want to sign in, there's like a heart that's right near my name. You can click on that. I think it's just one token. And you should be getting notifications on when I come on. I would love to keep a schedule, but the more students that are coming in, they have to take precedence. I hate to say it that way. It does sound very cheeky, but I'm sorry. That's the reality of it. Because, I mean, I could be here starving and you have no idea. As long as I keep coming on and giving you free math advice, you don't care. But that's all right. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, have a lovely night, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, keep being awesome. Get some sleep. Bye now.